sold, here you go. Any old song. Let's go! 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 Go! Right now! Global Media. Let's go! Any old song. Time to start this show! Step in the room, let the whole place shake. Any got the formula, watch greatness bake. Books go live and the rankings rise. #1 energy right before your eyes. From Nigeria to the United Kingdom, building up voices and igniting freedom. Off the stand taller when the spotlight hits. Global Media turns big dreams into business. Paula got power, Paulette brings the crowd. Alexis makes every written word sound proud. Christiana Johnson let the whole room know. Global Media got the team now. Run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show. They make you famous, so you sell more. Make some noise, let the whole world know. Put your name on the cover, then watch your business grow. Books in the air, everybody, let's go. Global Media in the building, now start the show. #1, big authority, big legacy. Global Media. Who took the lessons from COVID-19, turned pain into power and built a whole team? Who showed us how to rise when the world shut down? Ineosing took the lesson and spread it around. Let's go, he took what we learned and showed how to overcome it. Put 17 voices together and then he went and won it. 8 #1s, let the whole world hear it. Resilience on the page with a champion spirit. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. A story of strength, hope, and victory. Don't just look at it, don't just talk about it. Buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. Lessons we learned from COVID. Buy now. Any old song made history. Show 'em how. Campaigns, we announce your arrival. Turn your book launch into a cultural revival. Faith in the mission, fire in the room. Put your story in the word and let authority bloom. Entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, and coaches, your moment is here and Global Media knows it. Grab the microphone, let your legacy flow. Any old song. Let's go, let's go. Any old song. Time to start the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold, here you go. We make you famous, so you sell more. We build your legacy and open the door. From Nigeria to the United Kingdom, building bold voices and igniting freedom. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. Right now, let's go, let's go, let's go. Any old song. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the show starts now.
Dr. Noella, the show starts now. Yes, it does. How are you?
So beautiful.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm so nice. I'm doing great.
You can William can make a song for you. Bill can make a song for you as well if you want to do that.
Yeah. It's so great. It's so nice. It actually gives the energy.
I tell you, he really does. So I got 3 or 4 songs that that people made for me over the years. So so the other one, the one I use my ordinary shows is by Mike LeBlanc. I like that one. That's more gospel.
Okay.
But I like it gives you energy as well. And then there's another one out before by Naomi. It's no longer visible on LinkedIn. No longer gracing our shows with their presence. But anyway, literally anyone can have a song. Bill can make a song for anyone. So even if you're interested, contact William Rochelle. Otherwise, I'll connect you with him.
All right.
It's a good
I
thing to
think
do.
I
It's a good.
love it. It's so energetic. it gives you the energy. If you're down, it's just going to pull you up.
So and it's a tiring day. Look, I'm with you. After I've been doing my thing of burning the midnight candle. And so the books are good to go. The book, the print and the ebook are good to go. I don't like to release the ebook, no, like the print book too early. And
Okay.
the ebook today will be $20 because we don't want anyone to buy it. I might make it even higher, $30 because right. See, but next Monday on launch day, the ebook will be 199. That's Amazon's minimum price for us. So not to worry, so be it, right? It's how it is.
Sure.
So $1.99 is what our friends and family have to bring to buy the book on launch day. How you doing, Daniel? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Grateful to join from Maitland, yeah, Florida. Welcome to you, sir. I'm glad you're here. Now, Dr. Lisa, well, she's gonna scream it. Don't call me doctor, Lisa, a menopause specialist. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right, Dr. Noella, you have to connect with these people, these lovely audience members of ours, right?
Yeah.
Afterwards, you have to go into the comments and connect with them
Sure.
and get to know them. I can see collaborations. I can see friends. I can see people who will support the work you do, and you can support their work too. Yeah, still part of the
Yeah.
journey.
Sure.
Still part of the journey.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're getting the idea that anyone who is going to talk to me this week is going to get me being obsessed with your book launch. That's why on book launch week, I'm just a pain. I'm just not. I'm in my own little world because we have to make your book a number one bestseller, Dr. Noel. And I will do everything to make that happen, whatever that takes. Because I guarantee the service, right? So I have to get it right. I can't not get it right. If I don't get it right, it gets very, very, very expensive for me. I can't have that. So I have to get you number one a few times on Monday. My friends, when I create the event page, of course, you're going to be the first to know. And then we're going to have a party on the day.
Sure.
Then
Sure.
we're gonna talk about the book. So that at the moment we're talking about leadership topics that are mentioned in the book. So but on launch day it will be about the book itself. Maybe even read us a page or an extract. So it's all of that. What fun Annie has! What fun Annie has! Look, my friends, if you hear, drop us a comment. I can see numbers, but I can't see that it's you. And I can't welcome you properly unless you say something. Say hi. Say where you're joining us from. Much like Daniel did, right? Tell us how your day is going. You know, have you got a book plan? Have you got a book that's coming? Say something, my friends. Learn to engage. Otherwise, no one sees you in these events. Anyway, let me stop talking now. Let me let you talk, Dr. Noella. How is your day? How are you doing?
Ah, so exhausted today, but we must always create time. We must always create time for what we are passionate about, and that's still part of the journey. That's part of the journey. Even when you're not motivated, even when you're feeling tired, you need to still get up and move on and do that task you have planned for the day, even if you don't complete, but at least cover up to a 50%. So I'm glad to be here as always, and always thank you, Annie, for all the push. I mean, if there's someone who is very pushful, Annie can get to you at any time. Do this. I need this to be done. I need this to be done. so, so those are really things that sometimes when you're not motivated, when things are getting tough, and you really have other leaders who are ready to push you ahead, I think it's really amazing. So I'm happy to be here again on this live event for our book, The CEO We Know. experience. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Look, it doesn't help that I work. I do night shifts. I work every night, so when everyone's asleep, I'm sending messages saying, "Do this now, do this now." By the time you wake up, you're like, "What's wrong with Emmy?" Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, I'm sending messages. 5:30,
Hmm.
I'm sending messages, right? Because I'm doing stuff, and I need stuff done. And when I think I have to send a
Sure.
message, Captain Halle, how are you? So glad to see you, my friend. So thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dr. Halle, or Captain Halle has her networking events. She's a networking queen. She has a speed
Oh,
networking
okay.
event.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should go along. Maybe you should go along tomorrow, Dr. Noella, because you get to meet 100
Okay.
business and entrepreneurs in one space. It's half an
Okay.
hour, 100 people,
Wow.
and so what they do, she does breakout rooms. So you get to you
Mm-hmm.
get to join 4 or 5 of them, and then you get to talk to people in the room in detail.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
say,
I'll definitely reach there.
yeah, no. So I'll connect you with her, and then it's free. So go along. Why not?
Awesome.
I try. And if I haven't got an event on, then I tend to go along. But I haven't been for a while. I'm just thinking, where's Amy? Why doesn't he come to my event? So Dr. Captain Halle, I'm so busy. I went on holiday and everything, right? So I'm back now. Yeah, I will come along. I will come. I met some nice people in there, so yeah, it's always a good place to be. I can't talk about your other venture, Captain Halle, because I don't know enough about your other ventures. I'll learn more with time, right? I'll learn more. But I'll connect you with Dr. Noella. If she comes along tomorrow, then that makes a difference, right? Right. Let's talk out. I mean, there's so much to talk about, Dr. Noella. So much. Anyway, let's talk about our topic today, right? So today we're talking about leadership development, how leaders learn. Because I guess it's clear from your book that the whole point of leadership is learning.
Yeah.
I think many of us think being a leader means just doing. Like, you know it all already, and you just have to do. But I guess from you, maybe it's from your CEO no experience angle that you've had to learn and just keep learning. So tell me how important learning is for leaders from your experience.
Thank you. Thank you once again, and welcome to everyone. It's always an honor for me to be on this live event. And today we're talking about an aspect on our book, which will be launched very soon, The CEO with No Experience, which it actually started from me just identifying a problem and putting myself out there, experiencing a health challenge and putting myself out there to see how I can just help. But practically, at where I was starting, I had no idea that I'll be at this stage now. I know that other leaders that might have started when they have had at least maybe a good deal about the beginning of what they are actually trying to do before starting. But I just knew that I just had to help people. I just had to help pregnant women get care before, during, and after experience, even with those who don't have money. But it reached a certain point where I saw that it was no longer about me just giving those services. I started having a lot of people coming to me. Like sometimes I usually have 100 people sending me messages through the YouTube channel, through TikTok and all that, trying to consult. So I knew that that's overwhelming for one doctor to be seeing those number of people and seeing them effectively. So of course I needed a team. And needing a team, what does it mean? It means you need to know how to lead this team. And I told myself that how am I even going to lead all these people who are ready to work with me? How do I go about it? So that's when I started learning about leadership, how to work with people. Of course, I've been class maybe like when I'm in the class, I was a class delegate. I was When I'm in a group, I'm usually like the head. But having something, for example, those things they usually just give us that, okay, do like this, or this is already the plan, this is what you have to do. But having something new and just from something you just decided to do and having people follow you, that's different. It means you need to be ready to lead these people who are coming. So I said to myself that I need to learn about leadership. I need to learn what leadership is all about, what people are doing, what leaders are doing. And coming from a low and middle income countries, from Cameroon, and not only in Cameroon, but in an area which is highly affected by crisis. And it is the part which is in, like in Cameroon, we have 10 regions, only two are the English speaking, the rest is the French speaking. So there was a conflict between the English speaking section and the French speaking section. So with all that, to navigate all those things and come up as a leader and getting the opportunities I had been very challenging. But I knew that I had to do it because once people have already started believing in you, then you don't have to stop. That's the time when you need to be strong as a leader, because these are really the opportunities where, or these are really the challenges where many young people actually fail, or people who start up new things fail. Because sometimes you believe that you already know how to lead people, or if you've had other small opportunities like the ones I've had, you believe that you can already lead people, but leadership is different. And once I started learning that, I knew that it was actually different. So the main thing, the first thing that really caught my attention was when I started learning about leadership, I knew there were two things. If you're attending conferences, you need to know exactly what you're going to learn there, or you just put it in your mind, why am I attending this conference, or why am I attending this leadership program? So the first thing that I just wanted to even know how other leaders are doing. So I had to join a leadership program and learn from other leaders. So it was actually a whole course, like it was a four weeks program. It was so intense. Then you tend to see people coordinating people. You tend to see them talking about what they do. You tend to see them talk. I mean, they speak with all confidence. So I was like, where have I been all this while? What's happening? How did these people reach there? And that was how I knew that my mindset has to change. I need to get a mentor. I need to get someone who is going to follow me up. And just from there, after the program, you're giving, like, there's a mentor who comes in and starts following you up to make sure that what you actually said during the conference or during the program, you're implementing them. So this leader came to me and he said, how have you been, Dr. Nuela? How is everything going on? I told him that this is what I've planned. And I was just saying, just for talking sake, like, this is what I've planned. So I didn't even know what maybe he's going to tell me after. So he told me, I said, okay, now I want to change my branding. I want to make sure that pictures that I put out are professional, and maybe flyers that are put out are professional. So I have to go and start taking pictures in the studio and also pay for a graphic design to be done. And he said, okay, when are you going to take that picture? I had to start thinking that so I was just saying in some few months. He said, when exactly? I was like, wow, is this how leaders actually think? They give the deadline, they give the exact date, the exact time. And I just had to come up with a date. I just quickly searched for a date and I gave him that date. He said, well, how about the flyer? I said, once I've done the pictures, I'm going to do the flyer as well. He said, okay. So he's going to be waiting for the flyer, for the live video. He's also going to be waiting for the professional pictures. I was like, who is this? Who is this? And that was how I started working with him. And when that date, one important thing that he did, and I think that maybe as mentors, we should always try to also follow up whatever assignments we give. So once he got to me, because sometimes we might give assignments and they let it go. Of course, we want them to do the work, but sometimes mentors or mentees need that extra push. So he got to me and said, you told me that on this day you're going to do the flyer, you're going to do you're going to snap pictures. And that time I was almost like, maybe I might not do it again. I might not. When he called back and said, when is that? When have you finally taken the pictures? When will the flyers be out? That's when I got it done on me. Oh, it means I need to do this. And that was how I took a next break, a next higher height at my leadership journey. So I took pictures, I branded myself differently. And even when I had the live, he was the first person to reach during the live event. And he even reached my page and got there when I had not yet started. He had to get to me and say, where are you? Where are you? I said, no, I'm trying to lock in. It's just a network. So this was how mentorship helped me. And from there, I joined his leadership program, which was reading books. I just started, that's when I knew the importance of reading books. I usually hear people read books. Yes, I read books, but not really like for a particular thing. I was not really reading like a leader who is intentional about reading books to grow and sustain something. So that was when I started reading books, coming up with plan of actions. Immediately I finish one book, I come up with the next plan of action. And one book that actually struck me up till now, and that's what I'm using up to now, is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. So that book has made me known that that's like a book for sustainability for me, because we know that there are times of high and lows, especially the times of high. Once we have reached those points, like I've had international opportunities where the US government sponsored everything through the Mandela Washington Fellowship, but I could come back and just sit and bask in that glory or bask in that success and remain like that. But things are not, once you've had that success, it's for that time, but there are other opportunities, there are other things you need to do to either maintain it or look for other opportunities. So not because you have the Mandela Washington Fellowship that you just apply for this and you get. No, there are other ways. You have to start reading about grant writings, you have to start reading about fundraisings. So just because I had the Mandela Washington Fellowship does not guarantee all that. So that book actually taught me that yes, while you're enjoying now, always think that what's next. You should not wait for your cheese to get finished and you come into the room and you start asking who moved my cheese. So with leadership, you have to continue growing. We need to continue growing. And I think that this has really been an area of the leadership aspect that has really helped me, and I keep growing all the time. I make sure that I attend programs, and even if I'm attending programs, I know why I'm attending them. And also at the end, even there are programs when you might not even know what you're going to gain there, but once you get there you can actually meet opportunities, you can actually meet other leaders, and yet there's no conference that you go there and you go back the same if you're really intentional about going to learn there. So I think leadership, as a leader, you have to keep on developing yourself. And this has actually moved me from, they always call the area of conflict, to an area where I did not even imagine myself seeing or imagine myself going there. And that's why I also tell people that it is you don't need, you don't need to have it all pictured out. You don't have to have see the whole staircase before you start doing things. So you start and you learn from people, and then you grow up.
I like that. There's Noella. Many things you say in there, which I'm going to unpick, of course. Look, I think maybe let's start with the fact that many of us, many leaders, even in big companies, get the position based on their technical skills, not on the skill, not on leadership skills. Right?
Sure.
So I definitely agree. We have to learn, and also maybe I'll say also, many people learn leadership skills, I
Sure.
did. I've got a library full of books about leadership, management theories, leadership models.
Okay. Mm.
Because I did psychology, right? So that's what we spend our years learning. You see, when your skills, when your title meets reality, meets other people, everything you learn is rubbish.
For sure.
That's the thing, right? You have to
Yeah.
relearn. You have to relearn. All over. I'll tell you. Maybe I'm a terrible leader. I tell myself that because I can't. You know, I don't. I can't build a team easily. Well, I think I should be able to, but I can't. And I think you're a good example of why. So, it's challenging, and you have to keep learning. And there's many things you have to do,
Sure.
right? And so of course, you've mentioned that your main point is learn with intention. Now, don't
Mm-hmm.
because our time is precious, right? We can't be everywhere. We can't
Absolutely.
be wasting time. You can't. A day at a conference that's a whole day of your life gone that you never get back.
Mm-hmm.
So it better be worth it. It better be intentional. It
It's
better be,
better
you
what
better
it's,
know,
yeah.
yeah, you have to know what you're going there for, right? And so
Absolutely.
I love how you go to these places with intention, and then actually, and your intention is always to meet someone and to ask a question. I like
Absolutely.
that. I go to hide when I go to a conference. I'm going to because work sends me. So let me go. Let me hide. If I can leave at lunchtime, I will. And I get nothing out of these things, right?
Just
As you're
like
saying,
meeting you. Just like meeting you. It was through a conference and I was so intentional about meeting you.
I tell you, that's why you're smart. And so I need to get better, right? I need to get better. I need to get better. And of course, now you mentioned many of the things you've done. Said the courses, the mentoring. I think played a big part
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
book. Of course, the conferences as well. Again, I think that's and so of course the reading, the reading. These are all things that we have to do, right? You
Yeah.
know, I can see your mentors played a big role. Oh, I mean, is mentoring straightforward? Was it what? Did you know what to expect? Was it what you expected? Did it work the way you thought it would?
Mm. Well, I think there was one thing because it's always, they always say you need to be able to know how to identify those that are for you and those that will not be for you, because not everybody out there who applauds you is actually for you. So I've had some instances where I've actually met people and they have disappointed me. Maybe you say something and you turn and start seeing them doing what what you spoke about, and you start seeing that it turns as if it's a competition. So I've had those experiences. I've had them. Those are some challenging times that you need to follow your instincts. If you're not ready, if you don't feel like you can share something to somebody, I think you don't have to force yourself to share it. And even when I had that, I had to get to one of my mentors. The mentor said, "No, you don't force someone to follow you or to value what you're doing." So once he said that, I said, okay, then that's really fine. Because sometimes you feel like, oh no, this is the right person, this is the right person. But no, not all the time. It's not always. So like my mentor, the first person I had to get to, where just even having the idea and reaching out to him. There was one time he's also a healthcare professional and we worked together in the same hospital. So when he passed, he was talking about something, and one thing that struck me, I said in my mind, who is this person with such positive mindset? That was what came to. So I said, this man has to be my mentor. And getting to know him, he's even someone who is so loving. He's someone who, that the positivity is all over him. It's just all over him. And that's how he does with his family. He's even just a sweet person. And normally he had even known me and known what I was doing. So when I even came, he was, oh no, how are you? This, so we just, that's how we just, so I was like, oh, so he even knows me. So that was how we just started talking. And now I already knew that, because they always say, even if you see someone that you admire and you're going towards a person because you have this intention, there's always what you call, like, you create a friendship, you create the relationship first. You create the relationship. So I think since he had already known me, and this me, that was even the first time I was just listening to how he talks, and I was saying, no, this guy, which person is this with a positive mindset? And since I went to him, as I say, I want to do this, okay, start. I said I want to start and open a YouTube channel. Yes, go and start. Even if you are using which type of phone, it must not be Apple phone. It must not be an Android phone for how much thousand, for whatever amount. Just start, even if it's a small phone. So far as you can videotape yourself and speak and people listen, go and do it. So I was like, who is this? So what is it? So he had never said no. He's the one who actually mentored. So when I told him that I want to write the fellowship, oh, you can, you, I mean, you are the best person even for this fellowship. So I'm going to work with you. That was how. So if I say I want to even start the organization, oh, go and do it. So it was not even like you even say, do you think that, no, don't do it before this one. Now you just started now, so you can, no, no, no. There was no time like that for my mentor. And once he did that, he just gave me the push. Even though sometimes you might also sit now and see how to actually analyze it before doing, then those are the kind of things that I was taking into consideration. But I already knew the people who were for me 100%. I already knew that. So once I have an idea, I just whisper it to them, and this is what they say. My mom, my husband was always there to always give the push, to do all the arrangement. If I have to go live, he's always there doing all that. So, but for mentors, I had those people that up to today, I'm really going to be grateful to them. So if you're not able to choose the right people, you're going to be in an environment where you feel devalued when you have enough value and potential. So if you are choosing your mentor, you should be sure that this mentor is able to give you everything that you need and not hide anything away from you, maybe because of any other secondary aspect. So mentors have really played a great role.
I love that. You know, we'll talk more about about mentors because they're a unique breed of people. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, how are you, my friend? I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. I know your show starts in 10 minutes, right? So I would join. I would join your show, Coach Sean. You know, I would join a few minutes late because we're going to do an hour, half an hour left. So that gives you an idea when I would join. 20 past, half past, thereabouts, right? So look, to mentors, I know you got more than one. Number one, so and maybe you need people who know who know what you're going through. That's what mentors are, right?
So
Think of yourself as an apprentice. A mentor, and then the mentor is a master craftsman. So they've been through the journey that you're trying to go through. Doesn't mean they're trying to do. Doesn't mean that they're going to do what you want to do. Just means
absolutely. Hmm.
that they have knowledge of the area of the journey that you're going to go through and paths that they can help you with. And of course, mentors are unpaid as well, right? So
Yeah. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
imagine that's why it's so hard to get right because like you say, some people are just shady, right? They steal your ideas and
Yeah,
they take credit.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and then they can't take credit for it as well, which is ridiculous. Don't be that kind of mentor, my friend. Don't be that kind of mentor.
So
That's just when I say that someone who can motivate, drive, encourage, inspire. And of course, I think it's almost there's some coaching in there somewhere as well.
hmm,
Again, I say this, this has to work both ways. Yeah, I think you have to be willing to learn, right? Yeah, you have
that's
to be
it.
willing
Yeah.
to
To do the
take it on
work.
board.
To do the
Truly,
work.
because it's a good mentor will push you, And as in life is all about going beyond our comfort zone, doing beyond what we are comfortable doing.
That's
We
true.
love we love our comfort zone. We love waking up and doing the same old thing
And doing
because
the same.
it's easy. It's easy. Like
It's very easy to do that.
Coach Sean showed today is you it's something about learning to do it badly and enjoying doing things badly. I have an idea what he's going to say. He's going to say, look, when you're doing something new, do it. You're going to do it badly. Don't get discouraged. Stay on, stay on and keep doing it because that shows that you're growing. Because
Yeah,
if you don't do anything badly, it means you're doing the same old thing. You're learning nothing.
that's right.
So
Wow,
I think
nice one.
being open to truly learning and starting somewhere. And there's so many things you mentioned, but I'll come to those in a second. I don't want to miss my chance with who moved my cheese. Who moved my cheese? My goodness! It made my day to see that in your book because that
Yeah,
that small book. Really,
yeah,
it a
really
hundred
small
pages,
book.
100 pages if you're lucky, right? And anyone who hasn't read, Who Moved My Cheese, and it's about him and her. They're two mice, by the way, and they're in a maze. As mice live in a maze, who knows, right? And
Yeah,
then they found some cheese. Of course, they were hungry, right? They found some cheese. Brilliant. And then every day they would go and eat the cheese because it was there, right?
go
And then
eat, go eat. Yeah,
was
enjoying the
shrinking.
glory.
The cheese was shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and the mouth was getting, And then, I guess one said, what do we do now? Now the cheese is gonna finish, right? What do we do?
What do we
Well, I
do?
guess you have two choices. No, so what they got two choices. One is option one: keep coming back to the same place, keep doing the same thing, and
Mm-hmm.
hoping for a different result, hoping
That
that
you
your,
change.
your cheese comes back. Hoping everything suddenly
Ridiculous.
works out, right? Or option two: move, do something else, go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else, go find more cheese somewhere
Mm-hmm. Go
else.
and find more cheese and
You know,
bring, or even eat
Like,
there.
I tell you, listen, I said the one that kept going to the same place. You can imagine eventually, as happens to humans, we'll
Yeah,
stagnate and then we die. That's what happens. That's life,
yeah.
right? Whereas
Mm-hmm.
the other one found cheese. They found even more cheese.
Need
You know, I
more. Yeah.
I said that's the story in a nutshell. We have to read the book to understand what we're talking about. And I said, and I
Yeah.
love that book. And I said that book it opened my mind to just much like you, Dr. Noella, to the idea of change is everything. We have to adapting. Never stand still.
Exactly.
Keep moving. Keep.
Keep moving.
What's next? What's next? It's such a great question to ask. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
I think we might create a T-shirt with that on it. One of your merchandise products, right? What's next?
Yeah.
You know,
What's
to point
next?
out, I say, even now, Dr. Noella, and I say, I live in a world of what's next because I'm doing what I'm doing today. I know I have to find the next big idea for tomorrow. Yes, my next big idea is TV. But even then, I know I'm going to I have to find the next thing and the next thing, and
The next thing. Yeah.
so leadership is constant learning and evolution and doing something better to serve your
Yeah.
customers. That's what I've learned, right? No, of course, and I say I'm intrigued that you've learned not just how to run a business. In managing people, of course, we have to learn that, right? Like I said, that's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Very hard.
all the other parts that you did not plan to learn, the YouTube part, the branding part, the marketing, even writing a book part. So I'm saying, talk a bit about the different things that you have to learn as a leader. I asked a question in description. How do you balance your leadership tasks with what you have to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Because this
Yeah.
it's such a broad portfolio, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that we leaders. we need to really balance up everything. It's not even about because we have our passion, we have family, and we have now ourselves to build. So sometimes you're building yourself in the various aspects you want to actually develop. For example, if you have now first you have a business, you have a business that you have to grow, so you have to also develop yourself on how to run and sustain a business. But that is not keeping you from learning what to do, as maybe if you're a wife, you're a husband, or and you're a mother or you're a father. Those are two different things. And now you also have to balance maybe work, if you're doing, maybe if you're doing more than two things at once, then with the passion that you have. For example, now let me take them into these three aspects. You have what you're passionate about doing, and maybe you might still have the work that you're doing. So you have the work, that's the business. You learn about the business for it to sustain and grow, just for the let's say like for the money to enter and come in. Yes, so that it's sustainable. But now you need to know now about business itself. So for my own aspect, I'm having an organization, so I need to learn about how organizations grow. But at the same time, I need to learn now about more about women and child health. So that is now the passion, what you're passionate about, so that even you have to give people services, it should be the best services that you're offering. And if now they have to pay, you need to see how your business is running and is sustainable. So those are the first two things. So for it, for the structure to be sustainable and to run, and if people have to come now for services, the service that they receive now is your competence. So you too have to be competent in what you are doing. So for my own case, I need to be competent in maternal and child health. And so that's why I'm not only learning about business, I'm not only learning about growing an organization or administration, I'm learning how to provide the best care to women, mother and child health. I'm doing public health, I've done sexual and reproductive health, and also doing so way more into the study, so that once people actually come, they receive now the best services. So those are the two things. And if you're now in another angle where you're a parent or you're a wife or you're a husband, you're a partner, you need to learn now how to manage your career and your family. So now I need to learn, as a good wife, what do you do? As a good husband, what do you do? As a good mother, you have to create time for your children. So you need to learn how people do it, how their books, their plans, their programs, that I also watch on that. I watch marriage videos, I watch things, how people, I see also how other leaders manage family, how they create time for family. Sometimes I might have some things, some deadlines to finish. I go with my laptop, and when the kids are playing and maybe they are doing, I can do one or two things and finish it. But once they are finished and they want me now to come and see, I close the laptop and I go and watch and see how they are doing. So in that case, you always tend to make sure that you are still in their lives, and you're still making sure that you have time for your partner. So as a leader in all aspects, in whatever businesses we're going to improve, whatever career or passion we're going to improve, it really boils around all this. Because if you have to learn about leadership, or if you want your business to grow, you need to create more networks, you need to reach out to more people, you need to attend more conferences to get what others are doing. If you have to learn now about what you're passionate about, you need to learn more, you need to go to school for that your program. If it needs that, you need schooling. If you need to go to the highest level with your education on that aspect, so that you learn better in and give the best to your people, then you go ahead. Or if you have other people in your team that you want them to be trained on this aspect, you send them for training. So all really boils down, and people who are now married will definitely want your marriage as well to succeed, because you cannot be failing your business and you come now to your marriage and maybe it's also maybe failing, especially if, for example, it's coming from you. So you need to be ready to listen to those red flags, because there are times I've even mentioned in my books, there are times when my husband will even come and tell me that I've spent most of my times now on YouTube, on all that. So I had to make sure that I listen to that. I say, oh, so I had to give a break. I had to give a break. I had to now make sure now that this time I need to be creating time intentionally for the family and two for the kids. So I think in every area as a leader, from what I come to realize, every leader, you need to balance up these four aspects. These four aspects. So I think that is what I can share on that.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? It's not easy.
Not easy at
You
all.
know,
Not
when you
easy.
say
Not
when you say
easy.
balance, people think 25%, 25%, 25%.
No.
That's not what it means. It literally, it is.
You need to be ready to listen to the red flags, because those are really those are really the things that, yeah,
Yeah,
the red flags always coming. Yeah. And
I,
if you're not,
go on, please
yeah,
carry on. Carry on. Sorry, right. I think being present in everything you when you're doing anything, being present is so important. Actually, being, you can't be with the kids. I'm thinking about YouTube. I'm saying, you have to be there 100%. There.
yeah.
Otherwise, your efforts is not going to work. You can't be on YouTube thinking about worrying about the kids. I'm saying, you have to literally,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, you have to have
Be
the
there.
clarity to be
Yeah.
there 100%. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? Again, of course, I love the fact that, as you're saying, we have to learn our trade. So many people do training. They learn about mindset. Really important. I'm not going to say it's not right. It really is to transform my business. But I still have to work on my trade. I still have to work on publishing books. I read more about publishing books than anything else. Mindset is good, but I'm saying that you have to learn your trade. You have to be good at what you do, because leadership is all about excellence.
You do.
Excellence
Yeah.
in everything we do. You can't. I spoke to someone the other day. She said that she made two mistakes in the grant applications in about 60 years. Two mistakes. I'm like, wow, that's what it takes to be great at what you do, and that's what that has to be the goal, right? Now, genuinely, you have to be good at what.
Yeah.
But also, look, many people forget this part, Dr. Noella. They forget to learn the business of business. I know what I just said, right? The
Exactly.
business of business. Otherwise, you're not going to have a company. You're not going to have the organization
You don't have.
that fuels everything, right? You have to learn the business of
Mm-hmm.
being a business, and
Absolutely.
that is more than you think. That's more than people realize, right? Which brings me now to say, let's tackle Daniel's question. Daniel, great question, my friend. It says, what's one practical thing a new leader can do to start balancing or prioritizing? Ooh. The one thing, what's the one thing that a new leader can do to start balancing or prioritizing the right things? What say you, Dr. Noella?
Yeah. One thing is always like, as he's talking about prioritizing, when it comes to prioritizing, you need to know what is at stake at the moment. For example, if prioritizing is about taking, of course, the most important thing at that time. But let's say you have your company that is about, um maybe you need a team, you need your team members, but now you get a red flag, like maybe, for example, your partner is saying you're not always around, you're always doing one or two things. You have to check from these two. Can maybe the hiring of a team member, can that wait? Can you create more time now? And once you have created time, you see now how you can squeeze time from there and be able to actually manage your own business. So it's about seeing what is at stake. They always talk about the four quadrants to see what is an emergency and what is
Yeah,
important. what is your top priority, what is you need to do now, and is what's important, because there are some that are showing as if are emergency but they are not important. So you need to try to see how to balance all this into that four quadrants. I really learned about those four quadrants so that at the end you're not in any emergency to do anything. If you're in any emergency, that one should actually be, yes, the real emergency, maybe health issues, or would have just called you that this is this, or something, a project just lands in now and you just saw it and you want to really, you feed in. So those ones should really be the real emergency. But they always say as leaders, you need to try to be at that quadrant where it's important but not emergency, so that you can actually plan yourself and you don't reach that aspect of emergency. So for me, the first thing you should do now is to draw those four quadrants and then try to put in everything you need, and then you'll be able to move from there. That's what I've learned in leadership
No,
books, and it has quite helped.
I love that. Look, Daniel, the fact is you're never going to have that balance. You're never going to have 25% of your time for four different things.
Any, can you give me 1 minute?
Of course, of course, of course, of course. So I can turn your camera, I can mute you. Yeah, I can. Yeah, you muted yourself, right? So essentially, as Dr. Noella says, what we have to do is prioritize, work out what do we actually need to do, and you'll be surprised. You say, there's something called the Eisenhower matrix, right? Essentially, there's four boxes is where you fit your tasks into, I suppose. Choose which one is which, right? On one of the boxes, it is urgent. Obviously, that needs to be done now, today, right now. And then, there's another one saying, next to that is important but not urgent. And then there's important. I'm thinking bottom right, bottom left, and then on the bottom right, there's not important. The way I do it, if it's not important, I'm not going to do it. Don't do it. And if it's not important, it doesn't matter. Don't do it. Don't even delegate it. Let it go. It's not important, right? It makes no difference at all. Let it go. Whereas you don't want anything to become urgent. You want to tackle those tasks in the important but not urgent box first. That way, nothing becomes urgent. Now, the way you tackle those things that are important but not urgent is by setting some sort of schedule. I say create a system where, every day you work on what's important, right? You work on what's important. I have no idea what that is. Oh, I'm doing a call right now. I'll give you a call back afterwards, Michaela. Cool. All right. Anyway, look, sorry about that. Like I say, my YouTube's on, so I have to have my phone on. Anyway, so you want to work on what's important but not urgent. Don't let things become urgent. Create a system. A system basically means that you have a schedule that you keep to every day. Now, my schedule is quite simple. So I wake up, I'll do my goal setting, I'll do my meditation, just to clear my head. That's how I start my day. And of course, gratitude as well. That's building your positivity, right? And then so in that process, I work out what I'm going to do for my day. I know what I'm going to do for my day anyway, because I know what's important. But I don't really become urgent. And then for the first hour, I do what Dr. Noella said, you work in your business. What do you have to do for your business today? Is it marketing? Is it create a YouTube channel? Is it, what do you have to do? Is it your accounting? Is it chasing some customers? I'm saying that these are the important things that you need to do, right? So do them every day. Do a bit of it every day. Dr. Noella mentioned when we started the show today, she said, I don't know what it was. It's don't try to do everything. So she said, when your day comes, make sure you try to do everything that you need to do, and try to do half of it. I would take that back a bit and say, you know what? When you try to do what's on your schedule for the day, now let's say your business, you say your business task, for example. I won't try to do half of it. So I will at least open the file. I'll open this. I'll open the whatever the task is, right? Let's say my task is to create a YouTube channel. At least I will go. At least I will open the YouTube channel. I'll open the YouTube and then I'll see. I'll start to create the channel. If I can do an hour of it, the channel will be created, right? Let's say I'm tired, which happens. I can't do what I mean to do. I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the flow for that task. As long as you've opened the file and you've done something, you started. Tomorrow, come back and do a bit more. Day after, come back and do a bit more. See, now one day you're going to do an hour. One day you're going to do 2 hours. One day you're going to do 3 hours and get your task finished, right? But if you never open the file, you never open the task, you're never going to do the task, right? It remains there undone. So just always make sure that whatever you say you're going to do, open the task and start. Tomorrow, make a bit more progress. Day after, make a bit more progress. So this is my first hour of my day after my meditation and my gratitude and all that stuff, right? Second hour of the day, it was always the same. Customer one. Which customer is my priority today? I will spend time doing their work. They have an hour of my time. I say again, if I do all the work I need to do for them, happy days, right? If I do 10 minutes, so be it. And at least I've started, right? And then a bit more tomorrow, a bit more the day after, a bit more the day after. So then the third hour is customer two. See that the way all that works is that I start everything I'm meant to do, and then I make progress every day. Nothing becomes urgent. I don't go away worrying about what I'm meant to be doing because I've done it. I've started and I'm doing it. It's any other way. Some people have a to-do list, and it's just full of irrelevant stuff that's not important. Don't be that person, my friend. Do the things that you need to do. Important, not urgent. The more things you can keep in that box, the happier you will be. Look, check out Eisenhower's matrix. Now, of course, there's some things that you can delegate to other people, right? Let other people do them. Especially things that you don't like doing. I don't like doing numbers. I don't spend a single moment doing numbers. I have an accountant for that. He does all that stuff. I just don't know. So there's things that you don't want to do, that you don't enjoy doing, that you're not very good at. As a leader, you haven't got time to assign to do things that you don't want to do, right? So I'll just explain the Eisenhower matrix and how to prioritize as you described, Dr. Noella. I was saying, don't let anything become urgent. Do the important, but not urgent things today. Do them every day until that way they're done. So now you said earlier, start everything and do at least half. No, I say just start.
Just start, actually.
If you do 10 minutes, good. If you do 5 minutes, okay. If you do an hour, brilliant. If you do 2 hours, probably be finished by then, right? It's all of that. Look, that's our time is going, so I'm well aware. Now, Daniel says, thank you for answering my question. Thank you for answering my question. They say you cannot truly multitask. Maybe you can't, Daniel. As a man anyway, maybe you can't, right? But you can do a bit of many things. I said doing a bit of the important things is more important than trying to do 2 things at once. Like we said earlier, you have to be present whatever you're doing. In case you're wondering why, my friends, if you are present in your task that you're doing, you get in the flow. There's more chance of that happening. If you're distracted by something else, you can't work in flow. If you're wondering what's working flow, my friend, look, we work in flow when we're working brilliantly. Well, it almost comes easy. We're super focused, we're fast, everything just working out. We suddenly it's working. right? Some days it will not flow. It does nothing works. I don't get. I don't want to be here. This is really hard. This is miserable, right? Whereas
Yeah.
if you're focused, think one day you get so good based on what you said earlier, Dr. Noel. Like get good at your task, get good at your thing. This is what brings it all together. Look, one final question I want to ask you, Dr. Noella, is see, we all love to just carry on doing the same thing. I want to be great. I want to be successful, Dr. Noella, right?
Yeah.
I want to lead a global company, but I want to do it from here. I don't want to move anywhere. I want to just do it from here, from my house, from my office in Cornwall, right? That place. No, whereas you've been everywhere. You've been around the world. Talk to me about how important it is to be prepared to go where you have to go. You have to move. You can't sit still, right? We just
No,
can't
you
sit
can't.
still.
You can't.
Michael, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. It's my lucky day, Michael. Thank you so much for being here. And Yolanda sent me the edits for her book today, so I'm gonna make the edits in between that steps from tomorrow onwards. So after Dr. Nola's book gets published today, and then I'll finish off Yolanda's book, and then we'll launch our book after that. Mr. Curtis, I see you too. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yolanda, you can have a background for your book too. You're gonna have to have one, right? Dr. Noel, maybe I forget now. I'll talk to my friends about getting one. William Rochelle will make one for you. Once we have the book, then you can create, a book picture, right?
Okay.
Anyway, look. So now we are just about to finish, but we're talking about Yolanda, Dr. Noella's book, The CEO with No Experience, sustain and I forget the words.
The
Yeah,
courage should start, the wisdom to sustain.
that's the one. That's the one. That's the one. But look, and I said, and the book's going to be launching next Monday about this time, so in the 31st of August. So please, my friends, do come and buy your copy. We found out today the book's going to be $1.99 on launch day. So please come and buy your copy. Now we need to make Dr. Noella an Amazon #1 bestseller because it's a service that we provide, especially when we launch a book for you, right? But I need your help, my friends. I need your help to come and buy the. Come to the party next week, next Monday, and then come and buy the book for $1.99. Please, Yolanda, yes, come and buy one, but now you expect us to buy your book, right? It'd be something similar. So, anyway, talk to me now. So say now you've been everywhere around the world. You're in Cameroon, but as a leader, you've had to go everywhere. Tell us about the way you've been to learn.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes it is not really about maybe like where you start. What I believe is it's not about where you start that determines, or who you are that determines where you're going to end. I think this is a common saying. So just like I was doing whatever thing I was doing to help push out, promote maternal and child health, it was just still someone who told me that you're a candidate for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And I was like, what is it all about? So the person spoke about fellowships. So at that time, I really didn't know about what fellowships are all about, or scholarships. And I knew about maybe scholarship, you can go for a school, but I didn't know about fellowships where it could be short courses. So he said, you're fit for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So, and that is to be taking place, that takes place in the US. So that's when I said, oh, so it means that what I've done is up to that magnitude. And like I always say, when I want to do something, I go in to check what's the best way of doing that particular thing. I don't go into first of all try and see, okay, can I do this before maybe I fail. Even though that's the aspects that even when you want to do the best thing, you still fail definitely. But I always try to make sure that I give it my best first. And if it does not work, then I said, okay, I try. So when I even heard about that, that was really a big opportunity. And I told myself that as leaders, you need to be very honest for what you know and what you don't know. So I said, I don't know about this. I don't even know how to apply it. I've never even heard about it. So who can really help me? I had to go to a mentor, someone who has done to who had applied for it, and they actually gave me all the steps. They showed me how to do the fishing. There's no fish for me. So that's why I've been able to also mentor other people who have attended the Mandela Washington Fellowship as well. So with that, you know, one thing that I'll always tell everybody, because people tend to ask me that, oh, we went to the United States, we saw you doing enjoying visiting how many states at once, we saw all your posts, we saw all the, so how was it? So what do you think? How is the Mandela Washington Fellowship? How I said one thing I always tell people about the Mandela Washington Fellowship was that it actually just validated the work I was doing. It just made people to believe that what I was doing was actually creating impact. Because sometimes what you are doing, you need to succeed first before people will know that what you were doing actually mattered. So I believe that that was the huge success that came to tell people that what this girl was doing was valid, what she was talking about, because people always say, oh, I always see you on social media, see something that you just started like that, and this is how this just that small talk. That's what that those were some words that I usually, just that small talk pregnancy with Dr. Nella, this is what took you to the United States. I say yes, that was the seed I was planting, even though if from the beginning I had no idea that is going to even lead me to that. So it just shows that when you do what you're doing with passion and you're serving people selflessly and just doing it and giving it your best, your reward will come one day. Your reward will always come. So I think that that visit to the United States actually, and doing all the aspects, gaining everything from there. By the time I was coming, all the networks that I'd met, by the time I was coming, I'd really secured the grants from our organizations where we supported over 200 pregnant women in our community. So those are some aspects that it actually just validates your work. So once I go in now, once I ask for a project, once there's a project and I say, okay, I need this hall, I need this, I just go and just present it, and it's easy. They easily just give me the hall. Those are things that they just give me for free, and they just give me like so. But at first it wasn't that way, but once they see when it puts you at that level, then they start believing what you were doing. And secondly, not only that, also conferences, partnerships and programs have been able to reach out to many people, to reach other top leaders, other top business people. I just attended one conference, and in that conference, just the person sitting next to me told me that there's an opportunity to go to China. I was like, okay. It just, I made as if I'd not heard. But after that, we connected, we became friends, and that was how he sent me there. I said, you said something about China. What's that? He just sent me all the how it goes and everything. And that was how I felt I saw myself in China, reaching out and meeting other big business and seeing how businesses grow. Because as a medical doctor, yes, we can own hospitals, we can also own, we can do their businesses in healthcare. And that is what we are trying to change. That's what we are trying to come out. That's why I even started the Cameroonian Physician Network. That doctors out there want to start up hospitals, but they don't know how to do it. They cannot even lead hospitals. They don't know about the business in hospital. They don't know how to run. You see doctors run doing this hospital, working in this hospital, working in another hospital, working in 5 hospitals, when if you negotiate very well, you can do 2 hospitals and still gain the same in those 2 hospitals. And at the end, you're effective than working in 5 hospitals and you're not effective, and even still the money is not enough. So
Yeah.
doctors, healthcare professionals have to learn businesses. So when you go to these areas, it actually opens your mind and it makes people believe more in what you're doing. And that's how they keep supporting you and you become sustainable and you're able to still continue giving the care that you want to give at the higher scale. So I think that those things, that's how it works. Thank you.
And I love that. I love that. Look, I'm well aware that the China conversation we're going to have on a book launch day. Maybe we'll have the conversation about you going to China on Thursday because we've got one more event, right? But so going to I think you underplay the level of willingness that you have to move to go where you have to go. Many of us will say because we've got family, we can't go there. Because we've got responsibility, no, we can't go there. We can't do that. Can't do this. Can't do that. Whereas now, you prove that we have to be willing to do these things. As a leader, you
Yeah.
have to be willing to go where you have to go. And sometimes you have to go abroad. Maybe I will also add that there's something which you just said, which is there's a lot to be gained by seeing the world from a different perspective, a different viewpoint. Because I
Yeah,
grew up
absolutely.
because I grew up in Nigeria, I know I mix being British and being Nigerian. I mix the approaches, of course, and I go on holiday around the world. And that's my thing, right? So so you get to see different people, get to meet different people, get to see different ways of thinking, and
Absolutely.
that can help you create your way of thinking too, right? So Yolanda says my grandson takes Chinese lessons. Yolanda, going to China is my idea of a nightmare, but Noella's been there, so she'll tell us all about it sooner or later. If not on Thursday, then it will be, it's on the book launch day. Michael, look, thank you so much, Michael. No, Michael's talking about the concept of collapsing time, well, which I like. I like. I think I never talk about as collapsing time, Michael. No, the simple way to explain what Michael's talking about is that the concept of slow and steady wins the race, right? You can collapse time, so you can get more done quicker than you
Quicker.
think. And the best way to do that is by doing a bit every day. He's saying that if you've got 10 tasks, rather than trying to do 10, your 10 tasks one after the other, why don't you do 10% every day? Say no, it might seem longer, but it's quicker than everyone else could do it. I agree with you,
Absolutely.
Michael. That's why I say create a system where you know what you're doing every day. You're doing a bit of everything every night. You're doing a bit of the important things every day, right? Get rid of the things that are not important. Kill those. Get rid of them. They're not your problem. Delegate where you have to. Otherwise, just if it's not important, get rid of it. Don't do it. Just say no. I'm not doing it. You know, and where you can get help, then get help.
Get
So
help.
it's
Yeah.
all about working efficiently and using your time to the best you can and maximize your productivity, I suppose, right? So, Dr. Noella, thank you so much. Our hour has passed.
Thank
My
you.
friend, if you're here, please, do join us again because I need you to come up to buy the book for $1.99 on Monday when we launch the book. So we're back again on Thursday for another, conversation about what's in the book. So, do join us then. But I thank you all. Michael, I love the idea of compressing time. Everyone should be doing it, right? Dr. Noella, how do you want to leave us today? What's your big takeaway that we can take away in terms of learning as a leader?
The one takeaway that I'm just going to say is it still boils down to the book, Who Moved My Cheese? So don't let your cheese get finished before and you start lamenting on it. Always try to think what's next. And but in all that, always try to find it's not really that balance, that comfort. Once you feel like this is taking me is making me exhausted, you need to try to see how you can rest. Find that time to rest, find that time for yourself, and even the next day you get up and rise and continue as if you have not stopped.
Yeah,
So that is
I,
it. So keep
I
going.
love that, man, and that is so true. if you don't rest, then you're gonna burn out. And even Michael, you mentioned it in one of your comments as well. Take breaks. Take breaks. But, self care is important. The leader who's burnt out can't do anything. You can't do anything at all.
Absolutely.
So there's no point letting yourself get exhausted. Again, Michael's point, compressing time. Slow and steady, beat every day makes all the difference. Dr. Noella, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Halle, I will connect with Dr. Noella with you. So please
Thank you,
invite us to
everyone.
networking tomorrow. And let's see where we can get to. Thank you so much, everyone. If you miss a show, please watch a replay. If you watch a replay, wherever you watch it, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Follow us if you connect with us. Don't follow me. Connect with me. Follow me does nothing for me, right? Look, and enjoy your day, my friends. Enjoy your week. I'm going to go and see Coach Sean in his show. Yeah, another half an hour left. But thank you, Dr. Noella. You
Okay.
take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I know you don't like all the flair. Sometimes the shine brings too much glare. So we toned it down for the audience's sound. Global.Media. Any old song. Let's go. Time to stop the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold, here you go. Any old song. Let's go. 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 Go. Right now. Global.Media. Let's go. Any old song. Time to start this show. Step in the room, let the whole place shake. Any got the formula, watch greatness bake. Books go live and the rankings rise. #1 energy right before your eyes. From Nigeria to the United Kingdom, building up voices and igniting freedom. Off the stand taller when the spotlight hits. Global.Media turns big dreams into business. Paula got power, Paulette brings the crowd. Alexis makes every written word sound proud. Christiana Johnson let the whole room know. Global.Media got the team now. Run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show, run the show. They make you famous, so you sell more. Make some noise, let the whole world know. Put your name on the cover, then watch your business grow. Books in the air, everybody, let's go. Global.Media in the building, now start the show. #1, big authority, big legacy. Global.Media. Who took the lessons from COVID-19, turned pain into power and built a whole team? Who showed us how to rise when the world shut down? Ineos took the lesson and spread it around. Let's go. He taught what we learned and showed how to overcome it. Put 17 voices together and then he went and won it. 8 #1s, let the whole world hear it. Resilience on the page with a champion spirit. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. A story of strength, hope, and victory. Don't just look at it, don't just talk about it. Buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. Lessons we learned from COVID. Buy now. Any old song made history. Show 'em how. When I say global, you say media. Global.Media, Global.Media. When I say any, you say awesome. Any awesome. Who makes you famous? Awesome. Who makes you famous? So you sell more. No, it's the campaigns, we announce your arrival. Turn your book launch into a cultural revival. Faith in the mission, fire in the room. Put your story in the word and let authority bloom. Entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, and coaches, your moment is here and Global.Media knows it. Grab the microphone, let your legacy flow. Any old song. Let's go, let's go. Any old song. Time to start the show. If you don't know, baby, now you know. If you want your book sold,